it's safe to say that you're newer to the game, right?
Somewhat.
As far as pursuing music as a career choice, right?
Yeah, basically taking it a lot more serious now.
But as far as music goes, I mean, your passion and love for it goes a lot farther than that.
Yeah, definitely.
So you sing, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
So how'd you get into singing? Like, how did that start for you?
So basically, when I was in 5th grade, my middle school teacher so happened to be a big artist back in his country.
What country?
And I forgot. I think
Okay.
he was from Africa though.
Okay.
So well, that sounds stupid, but
Sure.
you know what I
No,
mean.
it's all good.
No.
Yeah.
And basically, we were singing a song, and we had like this little chorus group because we all had music.
Mm-hmm.
So he seen us, and he was just like, who would really like to, sing songs with me, and we can go to a studio.
Sure.
We can ask the teachers and your parents, sign permission slips, stuff like that, if you guys really want to do it.
What grade was this?
5th grade.
Okay. And he actually took you to a recording studio.
Well, he wanted to.
Okay.
He was like that. If everything goes well, then he'll try to. Okay.
Yeah.
If everything goes well, he'll try to see if he can orchestrate something like that.
Sure.
If we want to take it really serious, because
Sure.
he seen that we had talent.
Sure.
So he just he tried to do it, but at the time it was just obviously school stuff, and
Yeah.
at the time, we're little kids, so
It's tough. No, I would imagine. I mean, there's a lot of red tape when it comes to children, and removing them from the premises is a big risk.
Definitely.
For a school. So I get that. But the fact that he was willing to kind of do extra work, really, in order to kind of foster talent that he saw, says a lot about your teacher.
Yeah.
And that's pretty dope. So you had mentioning to me before that in the 5th grade you were part of a choir in the Boys and Girls Club, right?
Well, not in 5th grade. Basically, going forward, kind of around like 6th grade,
Okay.
in that area.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't really a choir, but it was more just like I would go to the music hall, like the music,
Sure.
room or whatever.
Sure.
And wherever we just chill. Sometimes we'll have vocalists that sometimes volunteer from like Berkeley and stuff like that.
That's so dope.
And they'll come, help us. And if we all had interest of certain things, whether it was in the music, spectrum,
Yeah.
we had a lot of things that they just helped us. So they'll have people that come that did production. And then they had other people that just did everything else, people that danced. We had a dance studio, everything. So they would have many people come in. They even had Tom Brady come in.
What?
Yeah, so he was in,
What? So, all right. So, where was this?
Where was this?
Well, like, what's that? Like, what part of Boston?
Oh, Brighton.
Okay, it was in Brighton.
Brighton.
That's so dope, man. And I'm sure that was super inspiring for you guys. Because what's important for children is for them to, explore as many things as they possibly can in order to find out what it is that they love.
Yeah, no, definitely.
You know what I mean? And the fact that your school provided programs like that, especially in the city of Boston, not every school is fortunate like that. So I guess you were very lucky in that sense.
Well, actually, it wasn't the school. It was actually the Boys and Girls Club.
That's right. That's right. Correction. That was the Boys and Girls Club. That's dope. And you had mentioned that you were part of a competition.
Yeah.
So tell me about that.
It was basically called Clubhouse Idol.
Okay.
So it was like a knockoff version, obviously, of American Idol, whatever.
Sure.
So we go do the first audition.
Yeah.
First audition leads to the second, and then the second leads to the final round, which they pick 5 people.
Yeah.
And so at the time, like I said, maybe I was like around 6th grade, so probably like 12.
11, 12, yeah.
Like that. So I'm this kid that just knows how to sing. Like I've always been the one singing and stuff like that. So, one of the teachers, not the teachers, the people that just taught in that, room, she was telling me, she's like, you should really try to go for it and stuff like that prior then to me doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna do it. And I ended up picking Grenade by what's his name? Bruno Mars.
Okay.
And at that time, my voice was like crazy, crazy high. So that part when he's like, I'm gonna catch a grenade.
You was hitting that note.
I was forcing it. And I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of mad that I came in 2nd place.
Okay.
But it was just like everybody, like even though I came in 2nd place, I got more love from everybody than the person that did get 1st place.
So you would say that you were kind of chasing that high ever since?
Yeah.
That's fire, dude. So I mean, so that's when you pretty much fell in love with performance.
Yeah.
What is it about performance that you love? Is it the love that you receive? Is it being able to showcase what you're able to do?
Basically everything.
Yeah.
like just the whole feeling of it, just the connection,
Yeah.
how you can basically portray something and or basically, you know, show somebody something just from words and just a certain action that you're, you know, doing.
Yeah.
And they can see how much you love it or how much you have a good sense for it and stuff like that.
That's dope. I mean, I think the key word you just said was connection, right? Because at the end of the day, as human beings, being very tribal and social creatures, all that we're trying to do is connect with other people. Yeah. And, you know, I feel like for artists in all mediums, whether it's music, whether it's visual arts, connecting with your audience is probably the primary goal, right?
It's the best way. It's I don't know how to explain it. Like it's I feel like connection is just everything. Because you can meet a person and feel like that they're the greatest person in the world.
Yeah.
But if you don't have that connection with them, it's like
it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Because at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. That's dope. So let me ask you this. Say the Boys and Girls Club experience never happens. You never took part in the competition. Do you think that would have changed your choice to go into Boston Arts Academy? Or would you still would have gone because you're creatively inclined?
I don't know, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Like, to be honest, I'm not going to lie. Like, that whole Boston Arts Academy thing just, like, sprung up after, like, 7th grade.
Yeah, well, you know, for people that don't know, Boston Arts Academy is the only school in Boston proper that is dedicated to the arts.
Yes.
And it's only been around for less than 25 years. I think I was doing the research. It was 1998.
Yep.
So it's a young school relative to all the other schools. Yeah, it's crazy to me.
Exactly.
Right? So, I mean, you were in high school what years?
2014.
Okay.
Something like that. I graduated 2017, so.
Dude, this
13,
is crazy. I feel
13,
so old, bro.
14, something like. I don't.
Yeah, no, I hear you. So what were the events that led you to making the choice of going to this school? Like, how did you find out about it? Is it something that you were kind of weighing against other schools, or just kind of just happened?
Well, it kind of was something like that. Like, so basically, I was always the little fat boy. You feel me? Like, that's just what it was. Like,
okay.
I was always a little fat boy.
Okay.
So it's like I used to play ball. You know, I used to BMX,
sure.
stuff like that. And that's just how I was known as. Just a fat boy. Like, it is what it is. Yeah. Like, I didn't really care no more. I got to the point where I was like, you know what? Like, this is me. Like, I'm comfortable with myself.
That's
like,
dope.
whatever.
No.
I don't know. I just realized that I liked making music.
Yeah.
And I realized I'm out of everybody in this room. Like, if I put myself in a room, I'm like, can they hit a high C? Or can they do this? Or
so you're trained.
Well, not trained, but it's like I've got enough training and enough like practice where I'm sitting here and I'm just like, you know what? If I can sit here and sing and I can, you know, have a good melody towards something, or
sure.
I know what pitches is what,
sure.
Why not learn more about it?
That's a fact.
And
especially
at the time,
passion.
Yeah, and at the time it was just. At the time, it wasn't passion. It was more like me trying to figure out myself. Because I always, like I said, I always knew I could sing. But at the time, I was just like, you know what? There's a school for it. Why not go? So, yeah, I auditioned.
So I have to ask, what did you submit as your audition?
So basically, you go in. You, well, actually, I kind of forget. I think you have to you have to go on the website or something, or you just go in, basically, you know, audition dates.
Yeah.
You go, and then if you're like vocalist or theater major, dance major, whatever you are, basically that day, you just go audition, and basically they end up letting you know if you got in.
Yeah.
So
on the spot.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it's weird.
That's weird to me because there's only, I mean, like the school only takes in less than 500 people. You would imagine there's a lot of submissions for applications.
At least for me.
Okay.
When I went, like not cocky shit or nothing.
Oh yeah.
But like when I was there and I did it.
So not everyone gets that.
Yeah, not everybody. Well, at least like I said, maybe that it's supposed to be like a time, you know,
sure.
period before they do it.
Yeah.
So most likely, but like I said, when I was there, like when I did the audition,
yeah,
the teachers was like, wow, like.
Your first audition.
Yeah, my first audition.
That's crazy because I was on the website doing the research, and the way their submission process works is you, depending on which program you're in, you submit a video, and like you said, you can come in and display whatever it is that you're doing, and they take what you provided them, and they decide whether or not they'll have you come in for a second time, you know what I mean, to kind of make sure that whether or not they want to make the decision. But I was left with the impression from what I read that you come in, or you have your audition, or you submit your audition, and over time, after they evaluate the candidates, they choose whether or not they want you part of the program. And the fact that you were immediately chosen says a lot.
Yeah, because like just the way everything, how it happened when we were taught, because they basically be like, okay, what song do you want to sing? So they give you, either songs that are already on the list that you can find on the website, or you could just sing your own song.
Yeah.
So I think I sang Amazing Grace.
Okay.
Amazing Grace.
Good selection.
And basically after, they're like, you're really good. Like, the pitch was right.
Sure.
Just a lot of good things. Obviously, a couple of things I can, critique. I mean, that they can critique and they can actually give me constructive criticism. And they were just like, okay, let's see how your pitch is. So they'll play something. I'll go right back and forth.
So would they change keys, or like,
yeah,
how do they?
Basically.
Okay.
And they'll ask me, and certain ones, like, I would mess up on in naming the keys. But other than that, like, I was good. And they would just basically like, well, we would love to see you here. And,
that is awesome.
Like, they obviously, they're like, well, we still have to see people. But we would love to see, we can tell that you're a good artist. We can tell that you're very devoted.
Sure.
And we would love to, have you be a part of this family.
It sounds like you were, from the outside looking in, that you were, for your age group, 12, 13 years old, you were probably already technically sound, and they kind of saw the potential.
Yeah.
That's dope, and being that, the school's only been around for 24, 25 years. There have been a few notable people that went there, a few notable alumni. I know Diane Guerrero was Orange is the New Black.
Yep.
She played Maritza.
She came to the school, actually.
Okay.
She came to the school, actually.
So what do we mean?
Basically, I forgot what it was, because, like I said, I have bad memory. And
I do, too.
So,
I smoke a lot of weed.
Yeah, so it don't really help me with my situation. But she came to the school, and it was basically for the theater majors.
Okay.
So she was going to go to the theater room, because we had this, like I said, we all have, if you go to BA now, I don't know what it looks like, but what they were talking about years ago, that they're going to give, like, individual, floors to different majors, because that's what they kind of did with us. But our school was.
So you guys clustered together when you went to school, or?
Kind of, yes. Well, when I was a freshman, I went to school with actually Fenway. Fenway had the second floor. So I think junior year, that's when they moved out, or sophomore year, whatever, which one. Like I said, I kind of don't remember.
Yeah.
But they ended up moving out, and then we ended up getting the whole building. But now it's like they got a bigger building now, and it's, I guess, from what they said, at least from, I never seen it, but what they said from it prior, like years ago, that everybody's gonna have one floor for each major.
That's promising. That tells me the program's growing.
Yeah.
And one thing that was concerning was initially when the program started, there was a lot of issues with violence within the students. I'm just happy that, something for the arts has kind of survived, because, kids in the inner city are usually more creatively inclined, right? They're not really into like the whole technical shit, whatever, you know what I'm saying? They're usually creative people. Black and brown people are usually more creative.
You want to be different. You want to be like the next person.
Exactly. Doing something that they love, pursuing their passions, you know what I mean? And the fact that there's only one high school in the city of Boston. Yes, in the greater Boston area, there are other art schools. But the fact that in Boston proper, a population of 600,000 people, that there isn't more art schools is sad to me. But hopefully, the BAA, in their success in the coming years changes that. So tell me about the time that Diane came in.
Basically, I was most likely, I think I was in my major doing music. I was in tech.
What was your major?
I did vocals. I was doing music, so I went from vocalist to tech.
Like music tech?
Yeah, music tech.
Okay, so you learned like the softwares.
Learn the software, how to set up equipment,
signaling, and all that stuff.
Yeah. So and they taught us that. So basically, at the school, when you first get there, the first 2 years, you have to do the major that you wanted to get in for. Once you hit obviously about to be a junior, they give you a choice. So like they'll tell you if you want to still be a vocalist,
Dude,
you can go into gospel, you can go into jazz, you can go.
So you go to like the basics, the basic training, then you have
but like a concentration. Yeah.
That's dope. That's like a college layout.
Yeah, that's what they tried to do because they were so focused on the arts. So it was like they try to give us a lot of doors to open. Yeah, especially like even programs with Berkeley.
Yeah, and so it's like a feeder program into Berkeley. Yeah. So and we'll get back to Diane. But another cool fact that I came across when it came to the Boston Arts was the fact that you guys go to school 2 hours longer than everybody else, right? There's no sports, right? It's a pure focus on the arts, and you guys go to school 2 hours longer to work on your art.
Yeah, definitely.
So if you're a 12, 13-year-old kid. No, I'm looking back at when I was 12, 13-year-old. That probably would have been the deal breaker. I'd have been like, no, thank you. I'm not going to school for two additional hours.
Well, in high school I was 15, so I could say, yeah. So but if you're thinking about being 13 and you're thinking about that whole stuff,
fuck that. You know what I mean? That's just me. You know what I'm saying? So that tells me that if you're a student, who's at least somewhat aware of their situations, you would want to go there. That's a place that you want to go.
Yeah.
Because you got to do more. You got to do extra work. What is it like to go to a high school full of creatives? That's got to be thinking about that. I mean, to me, on one side, it's probably the best high school experience that you can have because I am a creative and I am going to school with a bunch of like-minded people. But I know what creatives are like. A lot of depressed motherfuckers. A lot of people that are late for everything. Late for everything. Yeah. Right? And a bunch of mood swings going back and forth. You know what I'm saying? So, like, what was it like? What was your experience like?
So, I could say, like, my high school experience, I mean, it wasn't bad, I can't say, because obviously looking back, I'm like, I'm alive. You feel me? Like, I got over the certain shit that I thought I would never get over.
Sure.
I graduated high school.
Sure.
Which, no shade. Half of the motherfuckers don't even do it.
That's a fact.
So, it's like, I realized that I'm like, it wasn't that bad. I went through a little bullshit, like everybody does.
What were your challenges?
My challenges, I could say, like, just kind of growing up. Because I got to the point where I was just like, I'm 18, but I was like, I had the mindset of like, I just want to do whatever I want. Mm-hmm. And then when repercussions came, it was just like, I didn't do it. I don't want to do it. So it's like, that's one. And also just like I said, the whole music thing, because even before I wanted to do tech, I kind of wanted to play bass. So I tried to learn how to play bass guitar too, but I was just like, I didn't stick with me. Sure. It was interesting to me, but it didn't really stick.
Yeah.
So like, it was good. And I can say for that, the basically about what you're saying of being around a bunch of creative people.
Yeah.
I can say it's very controversial.
How so? Competition was competitive?
Not even competitive. I just felt like, basically saying like I said, you're creative, right? So say like you go home, you see a pair of pants that you just randomly think about in your head.
Sure.
You cut them up, do what you want to do.
Sure.
Come to school the next day. There's going to be a person to sit there and be like, those are fly. But then there's a person that's going to sit there and be like, them shits is ugly as hell. What are you doing?
Such is life, yeah.
So it's like, I feel like it's a big controversy and it's a big just like a whole bunch of just shit that's just not many people know how to comprehend. Yeah. Because especially BAA is the biggest like school that supports LGBTQ also.
Oh, so it got interesting.
Yeah, so it's like there was a lot of people at the school that there were gay, lesbian, some trans, stuff like that.
Sure.
So it's just like, a lot of people that went to the school understood. Some people that didn't go to school, they just be like, oh, you go to school, this and that, blah, 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 and High School Musical. And I'm like, yeah, motherfucker, it is High School Musical. But like, I'd rather go to a school where it's like, there's a whole like dance circle in the middle of the cafeteria.
That's dope, man.
They got speakers. Like, that's the way it was.
Yeah.
Like, you'll have one corner, a whole bunch of dancers just dancing in the corner.
Dude, I'm jealous.
And then you have one that there'll be like a whole open mic. Or there'll be a full live band just because, kids that was doing instrumental, bro. That's what they'll do. And it was jealous. Just like, it was like I said, think about it now, it was a great experience. And a lot of people just
But I mean, your teenage years are going to be hard years mentally.
Yeah,
You're trying to find your own identity. You don't know who you are. You're trying to fuck bitches. You know what I'm saying? Like,
trust me.
You know, it's very, very difficult. So let me ask you this: was there a wall somewhere in the high school that had like pictures of like notable alumni? Like, these are the people that went to our school, and this is what these are the big things that they've accomplished. There was like a trophy. Was like a trophy stand somewhere.
Not necessarily, to be honest. Like, the only thing they really necessarily did was for alumni was the people that graduated previous.
Okay.
So like when you first walk in, there's like this little row, and it just shows a whole bunch of people that graduated. That's it.
And it's just so they didn't do anything noteworthy. They just graduated.
I mean, I can't say they didn't do nothing noteworthy.
Well, you know what I mean.
Like, yeah, but
in my high school, there was a wall of like, you know, one guy who went to the NHL, another person that wrote a major movie, stuff like that. You know what I mean?
I guess it wasn't really like that. It was like, you know, I don't know how to explain it. It was kind of like
no. I mean, it makes sense because it is a newer school, and like I said, you know, there are artists I would imagine from BAA that did things that are noteworthy, but the ones that I recognize was Diane, as I mentioned before, and a guy named Russ Ferguson. Who was the I think he won one of the seasons of So You Think You Can Dance.
Mm-hmm.
He's a crump dancer.
Yep.
So I would imagine, and the reason why I asked is because I had one at my school, and I remember, you know, walking the hallways, looking at that wall, like, well, I'm gonna be a person
just like that.
I was wondering if that was something that you thought about, you know, when you walked those halls. But since you didn't have it, no. The answer is no.
No, I didn't. I don't know. I just had the feel like I said, ever since like I've been in high school, I've been having this dream. Like, I want to make music. Like I said, I'm just starting to take it serious.
Mm-hmm.
But like in high school, I was sitting there. Like, you can even ask him. Like, I was sitting there like, dog, like we gotta do this shit, bro.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, if at the time I was just like, if Lil Pump, listen, I give credit when it's due. He's doing his thing. He did his thing. But in my head, I was just like, if we're making music like this, and we sound like better than these motherfuckers, like, makes you think we're not gonna, like, how can we not make it?
You know, and I appreciate the fact that you're not trying to be a hater.
Yeah, definitely. I support
Little Pump
it.
is buns. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I support the hustle. You feel me? But he is garbage.
And you know, and the thing about the music business is that it's 20% music, 80% business, and his business was right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
His promotion was right. He did something right.
Definitely.
He made a career out of it. I actually seen him and Perp, whatever. What's his name? Smoke Perp.
Yeah, I
was in Buffalo, New York, and I seen them perform.
They came down here when we seen them.
And buns. That's all I gotta say. But I'm an old head, and y'all generation makes music that's not meant for me. So it's not meant for me to understand.
So they were making music meant for them, only them damn selves.
And it was just a lot of crazy, distorted fucking 808s, and 3-4 lines that they repeat the entire song. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't take a lot of craftsmanship. I'm an old head. I appreciate craftsmanship. And that's why I fuck with retro. That's why I fuck with Wiz. You know what I'm saying? Because I listen to their music and I can tell they work on their craft.
Yeah.
And you guys are young. You guys have a lot of promise and potential. And I want to funnel my energy towards that versus, you know, Gucci gang.
Like, shit, gang. I even told Retro, like, even Wiz, like, me and Wiz, we just started plugging up, like, recently.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, I tell both of them, I'm like, bro, your music is fire.
Like,
I was like, I even told Retro, I'm like, yo, no bull. I'm like, you already got a fucking album out. About to have another one out.
Yeah.
That's mad songs that you could put 2 albums, 3 albums.
Yeah.
And you got a video and some more.
Yeah.
I was like, motherfucker, I gotta get to your level. Cause I'm like, but the crazy part was like, I started before him, whether it was being a vocalist, whether, you know, rapping or anything. It don't really matter.
Sure.
But it's like, I was already sitting there being, like I said, in 5th grade when people are thinking about playing games and going home and, you know, being outside. I was thinking, I want to make music. I'm singing.
Sure.
So, and I'm just like, if this motherfucker's doing it,
you can do it too.
I was like, where's my excuses at? I'm like, I shouldn't have any.
Well, I'm glad that you're thinking that way. You know what I mean? And I'm glad that you're clicking up with these dudes because you want to be around people that encourages you to level up.
Yeah, doing the same thing you're doing.
Like, you know, if they're putting out albums and videos, it's like, why not? I can do it too. You know what I'm saying? So why not be around that energy in order to kind of soak that in?
Yeah, definitely.
And be part of it. So, what helped craft your sound? You know, what artists would you say kind of influenced you? What did you gravitate towards and resonate with coming up musically? Genres, albums, songs.
I mean, I could say, like, I don't know. I could say, like, when I was younger, it was like, you know, the stuff that my dad listened to.
What do you listen to?
You know, like he's Hispanic, so he'll listen to like Latin music and shit. And then
where you people from?
He's from, I'm Puerto Rican.
Puerto Rican, okay.
So, well, obviously he'll listen to like reggaeton and shit like that. So that's where some of it went. And then it was just like I stopped. I didn't really like listen to it because I don't understand it. Like I understand it a little bit. You feel me?
Sure.
And know a little bit of words. I'm not afraid to admit it.
Sure.
So it's just like certain songs. I'm just like, I know because I've been listening to it since I was fucking a little shit.
Sure.
And then you got like those club bangers like techno or whatever. It's like all those other songs. So basically like that. And then it was like then I met my boys, and then he was like heavy on heavy metal.
What kind of what bands?
Like Slipknot.
Okay.
Well, Korn is kind of
it's new metal, but
yeah, but things like that. And then like Bring Me the Horizon, like he was just always like into it. So it's like
fire. I
got to the point where it's like, we'll listen to it, and like at first I'm not gonna lie, I'm like, what are you listening to?
You don't understand it, but like
I'm just looking at him like I don't know if I could trust you. I'm like, I don't know if I could trust you to listen to this shit. Like, what's going on, bro? And just over time, like he just introduced me to this like certain music, and I was like, yo, this guy's kind of fire.
Yeah.
Especially because Slipknot, like they had a DJ.
Yeah.
So it was just like
11 instruments playing at the same time.
Yeah. So it was just something that I just ended up, going towards. And I was like, I kind of fuck with this. It's different, but I like it.
I fuck with that because, I went to grade school in the 90s. I graduated high school in 2001. And this is before the MP3 era, so you had to buy your music, and you had to pick sides as far as the genres of music that you were into. You were either alternative or hip hop. I grew up, off of hip hop, but I went to Northeastern, and my roommate was really into metal and shit. You know what I'm saying? And I got introduced to so many bands like Tool, Black Sabbath. Because of him, you know what I mean, and then as the 2000s, the end of the 2000s, I really got into like metalcore. I don't know if you ever heard of bands of Parkway Drive or
I've heard of like punk, like more like punk rock and like classic rock, and then the whole heavy metal.
Screamo war.
No, yeah,
but my style.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like, that type of metal. Like, so.
Yeah, that's dope. You know what I mean? And that's what's cool about your generation, because you guys have access to music and you don't have to pay $20 per CD like we did. You can stream anything for free.
Yeah.
You guys have access to so many different types of genres, and as a result, be influenced by music all over the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
And that's super dope, man. And the fact that you're open-minded enough to absorb music and actually try to understand it and appreciate it for what it was. You know what I mean? That says a lot about your musicianship, and your appreciation for music overall. So if there's an artist in the industry whose career you could model or even emulate, who would it be?
Damn, you got me with that.
Like, who did you admire as far as their hustle coming up in the game?
I mean, I don't have more than one.
Who's that?
That's a problem.
Who?
I don't have more than one.
Oh, you don't have more than one? Nah, nobody? So it's kind of like just one of your own thing.
Yeah, because it's like certain people, because it's like, I could say like, because I'll just, the first thing I thought when you said it, I was thinking about X, and I was thinking about Juice.
Okay.
So, yeah, you could say, cliche, or you could say, basic, whatever.
Yeah.
But the reason why I can't say that is because, one, basically the whole heavy metal thing.
Yeah.
That whole Look At Me shit, and then other things that he did do that had a rock background.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, what's going on? I was like, this dude has
I love X, by the way.
Everybody did.
I love
and
X.
does. And I'm like, this dude takes a beat that's just crazy, like just hard, like bass and everything, and then he's just doing what he has to do.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, that's where it was just like that whole aspect of music. I was like, he got me there.
Yeah.
And then example like Juice, it was like not basically not giving a fuck about what he wrote in his songs, whether he felt like a junkie or he.
That's
felt
commonality between those two. They were ahead of their time because they didn't give a fuck about what they sounded like. They just did what they felt.
Yeah. They did what they loved.
Yeah.
So and that's what turns into your craft, I feel.
Dude, and that's so that right there is so promising, because I was telling Wiz when I did the episode with him, a lot of the issues that my generation has with yours, or even the guys a little bit ahead of you, especially during the time that Migos was really popping, was that the industry sounded like everybody else.
Yeah.
Right? And it sounds like, at least with this group and some of the guys that I've come across in your, your generation of Gen Z, there's a lot of people that are trying to be different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And essentially, I feel like that is, when it comes to hip hop culture, is the essence. Everybody coming up with their own style within the culture.
I mean, I feel like with that said, like, you're right. Like, if you're different, like, no one could take that from you.
That's it.
So that's why certain times with my music, I sit there and be like, damn, like, it's kind of, I'm like, what am I thinking about? Like, this is different.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not like sound bad.
Yeah.
It's just different. So it's like, I just sit there and be thinking, like, you know what? Gotta let it happen.
So, you don't really have somebody that you want to model career-wise, right? But as far as the sound, though, what it's like. So, for example, so you'd mentioned some bands before on the metal side, on the R&B side, and the vocal side. Who did you kind of? Bruno Mars, you said, was somebody that you.
Yeah, he was something. He was something to me for a little
bit. For some people, especially if you from the hood, he is quote unquote corny, right? But he is so fucking talented.
Yeah.
That shit he just did with that album he just did with what's his face.
I don't even keep up with him no more.
But that's just fire, dog.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If you're into that kind of music, it's jolly, it's upbeat. Yeah. But as far as his ability to sing and then the amount of instruments he knows how to play, you can't take the fact that man is talented.
Hey, exactly. That's why when people talk about like, oh, this thing is corny, blah blah blah, whatever, and I'm just like, bro, at the end of the day, like, you think they're corny? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
But I was like, you can't shit on somebody else's, like, their hustle.
That's it. And
whether
their
you
craft.
like it or not.
You know what I'm saying? If somebody is, I don't care what it is. If it doesn't resonate, if it doesn't matter if it doesn't resonate with me. If somebody is actively pursuing their craft and they're working towards mastery, I can't say shit.
You can't. You gotta respect it because they're doing something that you're not doing right now.
You know
and
what I mean?
Whether you sit there and be like, oh, I should do it, I shouldn't. Like I said, that's my very big, like, that's something I've been trying to work on. And because it's like the whole thing I've been used to being like, yeah, I'm gonna do it, I should do it, I'm gonna do it, I should do it.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, man, I've been saying that shit for so long.
Yeah.
It's time for me to really make music. So that's why I've been actually doing, like, yeah, I'm still not confused, but I'm still holding out on what, platform based, program I should use or whatever.
Okay.
For my music.
Sure.
Just to make a little chump change or whatever things that happen.
Okay.
But other than that, it's just like, I don't got time for me to sit here and just keep on saying, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it.
You just gotta do it. And you're gonna learn along the way, and, one of the dilemmas for, a lot of creatives, especially when they're beginning something, is that they don't want to, release music until it's done, until it's perfect. Mm-hmm. They don't want to release an album until it's perfect. And I'm gonna tell you something, it will never.
Yeah, not perfect. Everything could be perfect. Like, I don't know. That's what I also learned too. Like, you can try to make it as perfect as you want.
Yeah. But
at the end of the day, like you were talking about in the last podcast with Wiz, like, sometimes that mistake is a great thing.
I don't know if you know who Bob Ross is.
No,
so he's a painter from like the 70s and 80s.
Oh yeah. So you're talking about
afro,
yeah. There you go.
He would call them
happy accidents.
When it comes to any creative endeavor, some of the best parts of whatever piece you're working on is a mistake.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no, definitely. Like, I don't know. Sometimes I just feel like things. I don't know. You take it serious enough. You have to also realize, like, sometimes you're gonna not necessarily fall, but it's like you're not gonna always come correct every single time.
Oh, failure is a big part of being a creative. Yeah. If you don't know how to manage failure, you're fucked.
Definitely.
Because you're gonna fail more than you win. You know what I mean? Like, there are gonna be times, and that's another thing about being creative is, whatever it is that you're creating, whether it's music, whether it's art, whether it's a choreography, it's a piece of who you are, right?
Yeah,
so when you put it out there into the world for feedback, and it gets rejected, you feel like you're getting rejected.
Yeah, because it's like you said, it's you. It's a piece of you.
It's a piece of you.
What you want to show the world.
And you gotta get over that, because at the end of the day, like you said earlier, some people are gonna fuck with it, and some people won't.
Yeah, it is what it is.
It is what it is. And if you can get past that and focus your energies on getting better, working on your craft, and working on certain skill sets, it doesn't matter whether or not people like it. It does and it doesn't. If you want to make a career, you want people to like it so they can support you and you can make money. But from a purely artistic standpoint, you're really making it for yourself. You're really making it because it's part of your journey. You making art is part of you developing yourself as a person.
Yeah, and I feel like things like even just talking about that, it literally popped in my head. I feel like nowadays music is not just to be making music no more. Everybody sits there and thinks about, oh, like I want to make it. I want to I just want the money. I just want to do this and do that. But it's like, it's not. Because I think about it, like I always there'll be days where I'm like, we're gonna make it. And there'll be days where I'm like, it's life.
Yeah, sure.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
sure.
I gotta be realistic.
Sure.
But I still always think like there's gonna be that one day or maybe that one time that someone's gonna feel it.
Yeah.
And obviously it's gonna be one of those things where it's like you can't ignore.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to make music that you can't ignore. You hear that shit, you're like, hold on. Like whether it's a sound that you hear, whether it's the beat, whether
sure.
if it's a little bit of a lingo that I put out, like
sure.
That's how, not how everybody makes it, but it's like that's how some people get noticed. You know what I mean?
That's what it is. It's got to resonate on some level with your audience. And honestly, like I feel like, as I mentioned before, a quote that I heard that makes so much sense is that the music industry is 20% music, 80% business, and a lot of the times the people that make it, quote unquote, are the ones who are just most consistent.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? That's what it boils down to. I mean, like Rick Ross, when he dropped the Port of Miami in 2008, he was already in the game for 10 years before that album dropped, spending his own money, hustling, putting out mixtapes with the Carol City Cartel. And during 2010s, was one of the biggest artists in hip hop. You know what I mean? And you got to put in that work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like you can be the most talented motherfucker in the world, but if you put in work for 2 years and stop, that's it.
That's why I've been like basically kicking myself in the ass because I'm just like, bro, you got to do it.
How old are you, bro?
I'm only 24.
Come on, man. You know what I'm saying?
It's just like I'm young. Like I got the time.
Come on, man.
I got the money. I don't got no girl, nothing like that. So it's like I gotta, like I said, I gotta kick myself in the ass to just do it. And it's
just
like
focus.
It gets to the point where I've thought about it. I'm like, yo, like you can do this. Like you don't sit here and write for no reason.
Sure.
Like, go to the studio, whether you do something, like whether you put it out or not. Go to the studio. And that's why I'm kind of putting off what songs I want to show and what songs I want to, whatever. But I already have the EP. Like I already have 3 that are sitting there that I'm just like, I want to put this song on this one.
So what are you waiting for?
I'm just basically.
It's all good. We'll edit that out. Don't worry about it.
I just Hold up.
Party foul. Party foul. It's all good, bro. Don't worry about it.
So basically, I'm doing it because right now I'm still going over things. Because like I said, I have about like 3 EPs going. So I'm sitting here and I'm like, do I want to put them out as EPs or do I want to just do 2 or do 1 and then throw the rest out singles so I can just keep being consistent?
That's what it is.
That's what I'm saying. So I'm like, I'm trying to brainstorm it better. And like I said, it's all in my notebook. It's all in my notebook.
Yeah.
Everything. So I'm like, I just have to orchestrate it correctly and execute it.
Can I give you a word of advice? Don't worry so much about the approach. Just take the first step. Take the first step and worry about the next step when it's time to make the next step.
See, but that's why I'm just like trying to make music more because I'm just like my main worry, like my main thing was that, like I said, I could write. I love, making beats, stuff like that, or listening to them. But I was just like, my whole thing was actually finishing a song.
Oh, bro, and that is the dilemma. But go ahead.
Oh yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like I always sat there and be like, damn, I can't fucking finish this. Yo, I don't know what this, and I'm like, I'll get a writer's block. And there's certain days where I'm just like, I'll wake up in the morning, either I'll wake and bake or I'll just chill.
Yeah.
And then I'll be like in my head, and I'm just like, oh wait, hold on, I like this little bit of a lyric or this punchline.
Sure.
Put it in, cut goes. And that's also another thing about like my craft. Like I feel like a lot of times people, well, with my dilemma is like when it comes to either a beat that I'm really not feeling, or if it's a subject that I really don't like touch up on.
Yeah.
Because like basically there's this song that I was writing like maybe 2 or 3 days ago or whatever. No, actually, like okay, so Insomnia. Well, my fault, Amnesia. I don't know how to do that.
Same
Amnesia,
song?
actually, yeah. It's a song that I created, whatever. I already have it though, so I'm gonna put it on an EP. But basically, it was just like I don't know how to explain. Like I wrote it in a day, so it was just like because I felt like the beat was just so crazy that I'm just like, okay.
You know what's funny? I don't mean to cut you off, but I've heard a bunch of times along the way, whether it be from famous artists or artists that I've known, like on a local scene, that there'll be some songs that they would work on for like a month. They'll take they'll kind of take it in, reevaluate, and kind of redo and repurpose. But there are some songs, and it's funny, some of the most famous songs in the world, people come in
just
one fucking take. It just happens.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The muse comes into the room, and all of a sudden you're super inspired, and it just flows right through you.
Yeah.
And to me, like I'm an older cat. You know what I'm saying? I don't really believe in magic anymore. But to me, that's magic. When you're able to create something on the spot, and it doesn't even seem like it even comes from you. It seems like it's coming from somewhere else.
Yeah,
and it's just it's using you as a conduit. To me, that's magic.
Yeah. Now that you put it that way, it's pretty crazy. Because like I said, I look at myself, I was like, damn, like you really did that.
It's
like,
fire, man.
What the fuck's going on? And there'd be certain days like we'll be in the studio, me and Retro. He just looks at me like,
that's fire.
Like what happened? He's like, bro, where did that come from?
That's fire.
I don't know.
And it's good you have that support system, man.
Yeah, that's honestly like that's why like I'm happy because it's like I have a good support system. Like certain I'm not gonna lie, like certain times I feel like damn, like whatever. But at least I got like my friends to tell me like, listen, Marco, that banging, and this one, I either got to work on it or you need a feature or you got to change up whatever something.
You need that.
So it's like
grounded.
Yeah, it really does help because I'm just like, you got to have a support group. You got to,
especially if you're creative.
Yeah, you could do something yourself, but if you don't have a support group, sometimes it just makes your job a lot more harder.
It is because we're human beings, we're social creatures, and we're tribal. You know what I mean? We're not meant to be isolated. We're not meant to do things by ourselves. I mean, there are some of us that are introverts, and they lean more towards being alone and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, it's not healthy to be alone all the time.
Yeah, no.
And especially when it comes to doing something as hard as pursuing a career in music. Definitely. And not only that, pursuing a career in music and being from Boston, Massachusetts, you need that support system because there are going to be days you're going to wake up and you're not going to believe in it. You're not going to believe in the dream. You're not going to believe in yourself. And you need that individual to kind of remind you of who you are, your talents, and your passions in order to propel you to move forward. And there are also times where you're feeling yourself a little too much, and you may think something is hotter than it actually is, and you need that honest homeboy that you trust to kind of tell you, maybe you're better than this, you can work on this, you can make it better.
See, that's why I always, I'm not going to lie, I always stayed humble. There's certain things, like I said, especially with music, I can name, or anybody can name on their fingers, how many times I'm sitting there, they're like, yo, this song is fire.
Sure.
I'm just like, nah, bro. Nah, I feel like I can work on something. I feel like I could do it better. And then they'd be like, nah, bro, it's just fire. I'm like, well, thank you, I appreciate it.
Sure.
And then there's other songs where I'm just like, yeah, I did that shit. Everybody's like, yeah. I'm like, they appreciate it. I learned to humble myself. I learned to
That's important.
Sit there and be like, yeah, you can be. Basically, that's why. And then there's another song also. I'm gonna just use certain references.
Yeah, for sure.
And another song that I got done and stuff. It's basically what I'm saying is just I'm not cocky. I'm confident. I've learned to sit there and say I'm cute or I'm nice at this or whatever with my head held high. Because it's like, no matter where you go, confidence gets you places sometimes. Well, not sometimes, all the time. So if you're not confident and you're not going to get it. And certain times, I'm not going to lie, there'll be days I'm not confident about anything.
You can pretend.
I don't know. I kind of wear my emotions on my sleeve.
Okay, so one of those guys.
Kind of hard. Like, if I'm pissed off, like, you're going to see it.
Sure.
But I've gotten to the point where I realize I'm like, I can't do that either.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a time and place for everything.
Yeah. That's what I always tell everybody.
And being humble is super important, you know, and especially because, you know, from the couple of encounters that I've had with you, you strike me as a pretty solid individual. You seem like a good dude. So, you know, as you pursue and try to the music industry and try to figure out ways to navigate, as you probably know, because you strike me as an intelligent young man, the music industry is a fucking cesspool.
Yeah.
Right?
Definitely.
When it comes to your morals and your codes, what is, like, are you kind of coming into this game knowing that you have a certain set of principles? Because this game is going to try to pull you every which way, in order to tear you apart and turn you into somebody that you don't want to be.
Yeah, definitely.
Is there like a certain set of principles or something that, you know what I mean, like that, just ideas or things you're not willing to compromise, I should say, going into this game?
Basically, I just feel like all that I always think about is just you got to be yourself. You always remain yourself and always stay strong. Like, you don't let nobody take nothing from you.
Yeah.
Whether it's, you know, object, whether it's your emotion, whether it's whatever. You don't let nobody take nothing from you. So it's like me entering, you know, the music industry type. It's just like I always think about that. Like, I know the type of craft that I bring.
Sure.
I know what type of music I make. I know what type of feeling I can portray in this song or songs. Yeah. So it's just like I always sit there and be like, basically, just be true to yourself.
So, but if a label comes to you and is like, oh, we like what you do, we're willing to give you $1 million advance. We just want you to kind of maybe tweak a couple of things on a subject matter or whatever. I mean, how do you handle that situation? Like, are you willing to maybe compromise on what it is that you do for 6 figures, you know, and potentially life-changing money? And not only will it change your life, it will change the people in your immediate circle's life. Or are you going to continue to pursue what you do, knowing that it's true to who you are and what you do?
Well, I guess I could say, like, not gonna lie, I'd rather stay to myself. But if a record label does come to me and they're like, you know, blah blah blah, we'll give you this.
Sure.
And then they're just like, well, but we need you to change a couple of things. Honestly, I'm gonna say, okay, what are those changes? And if it's something I feel like that maybe could work or something that I'm like, okay, as an artist, I can say I should change it, or that maybe I gotta work on it, then cool. We can see what's going on. But if it's not something that I don't like, that's like him being like, oh, AL-KITO, blah, 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 this and that. We want to do a record label for you, blah, 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 this and that. All right, cool. How much? $1 million. All right. But you got to do country music.
It's not you.
Yeah, I'm going to look at him like, I'm like, you, like, no, you know, nothing against country music, but I just, you know, I don't.
It's not what you do. It's not who you are.
Yeah, it's not something I listen to.
So it has to align with who you are as a person.
And it has to, and I have to feel like it's gonna help me grow as a person more than an artist also. Because one is just, like I said, the music shit is not just about music. It's about my feelings. It's about how I feel about the world.
And I'm so glad you said that, because, you know, human beings have many tools they use in order to figure themselves out. Arts is one of many tools that people do so. And being a creative is not only just making a product that resonates with people or you can make money off of. It's a tool used in order to discover oneself along the way.
Yeah.
And the fact that you recognize that at your young age is pretty dope. So when are we going to get the music, bro? You know what I'm saying? Like, when you blessing us with what you got?
Definitely.
Is there a plan? Is there a plan to roll out these tunes?
Well, I'm not going to lie. To be honest, the summer is coming up. So it's like I have a song that I'm not going to lie. I did like basically probably most likely a year ago.
Okay.
It's I'm Into You. It's like a dance hall type shit, whatever.
Okay.
And I'm like, that's perfect for the summer. So people, and a lot of people have been telling me to drop it, but like I said, I just don't know what platform or like what.
All of them.
No, well, like what music-based program I should use. Like, you know, they have like DistroKid, and then they have like United Masters.
Okay.
So like, I want to know what's the best plan for me to.
Well, honestly, just real quick, if you want to, my opinion is to set up an LLC, set up either an ASCAP or BMI account, and every tune that you release, copyright it, upload it into BMI and or ASCAP, and it's their job to track everything that every spin that you have, you know, whether it be on TikTok, whether it be on YouTube or whatever, and recoup the funds for you. With DistroKid, I don't know too much about, but what's alarming about them is that I think they earn a third of whatever income you have come in, and I believe they own a piece or all of your masters. And that's crazy to me. And I could be completely wrong here. But I believe I was given that information. That was an immediate red flag for me. But traditionally, what artists have done is, you know, they've registered with what they call a pro, I forget the acronym for it, but BMI and ASCAP are the two top pros. Register with those guys. They recoup the money for you.
So you're gonna have to hit me to that thing, cause
yeah. You know what I mean? That's just like it's like music industry 101. But again, then again, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's from the old world. With your generation, with technology, it's so much more different. So you probably have a lot more. Like, I know Sound Exchange is another pro that that propped up in like the 2000s. That's like another alternative to ASCAP and BMI. Where before, in order to get paid, you'd have to like sign to a label or a management company to see any kind of funds. Where now, you can be a Joe Schmuck from Mattapan.
Joe Schmo.
You know what I'm saying? And all of a sudden, you know what I'm saying, you upload your music and you're starting to see checks.
Yeah.
As long as your business is right. You know what I'm saying?
No,
so like,
that's true.
I think it's important for you to put your music out there, bro. I think it's important to let people hear what you have. I think it's important for you to start garnering your audience. I also think, even though you are making music for you, and you're developing your craft, part of that development is the feedback that you get from your audience.
Yeah.
Because, you know, the people that fuck with you are going to tell you what it is that they fuck with. And once you start developing a base, an audience, and they start telling you, and they start giving you feedback, what it is that they like, you can now figure out what moves the needle and kind of double down on the areas that you know resonates with your audience.
Yep.
You just got to put it out there. And it doesn't necessarily have to be always monetarily. I'm not telling you not to have your business set up and have that right. But I think it's important for you to start putting the music out there and start getting that feedback, both good and bad.
Yeah, definitely. Because then it's like, even if it's not a full song, it's like, go say someone shares my music, whatever, they just, follow me.
That's it.
Because then, like, okay, I see that he got a good song that he got a preview to, so obviously I want to know when it gets released.
That's it. And especially with your guys' generation, I was telling this to Wiz, there's always been a battle between quantity and quality. In the years past, quality's always trumped quantity. But because everybody has a voice, everybody has a platform.
Now it's quantity over quality.
Quantity's definitely caught up.
Yeah.
There was I don't know if are you on TikTok?
Yeah, somewhat.
So there was a creator that I followed since she was in like the low 10,000s. Chunky's Dead, right? Melissa Ong, this Asian chick from New York. She lives in LA now. And I remember when she first started, smart girl.
What does she do, by the way?
She just does like comedy, like weird comedy shit.
Oh, okay.
And she had like a second account where she was like kind of like, she wasn't being her persona. She was being more of her own, like herself.
Mm-hmm.
And she was saying, like, when I started out, it's like I would post 5-6 times a day. It doesn't matter if I was shit posting. What was important was to get people familiar with me, and to be in their faces all the time. Because you can have a dope song, but like a week later, are they gonna remember it? if you're not constantly in their face, if it's not constantly in rotation. That's why music marketing budgets are so expensive, because really what they're spending on is getting that song in your face constantly. And back in the 90s, in previous, a lot of times it didn't really matter if the song was like terrible. If they played the song enough times, you're gonna fucking like it.
Yeah, that's like the radio. Like they'll play Bad Bunny. They'll play that motherfucking shit like 85 times a day if they could. Like they do it all the time.
All the time. You know what I'm saying? And that's what the budget really is about, is getting into your face and, convincing you that everyone else is listening to it and that they like it. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
So, definitely having a platform, developing your audience, because that's what's going to essentially feed you. That's the value of your movement, is how big your platform is, how many followers you got. Not only how many followers you got, how many of your followers are actually engaging, interacting with your content.
Yeah.
That's where the value comes from. You know what I mean? So sooner than later, my friend.
Yeah. That's why I've been like, and also too, I feel like the fact of me basically, I can say like I've been improved on my craft a lot, especially when it's come to basically, like I said earlier about the whole writer's block shit.
Sure.
Like I'll sit there and I'll just be like, okay, but like what do I want to portray on the song? Or like what is the message of the song? And I was like, okay. I'll read the first couple of, the chorus or whatever, and then I'm like, okay, this and that. I'm like, oh, yeah. I'm like, all right, put this in there, put that. And I'm like, all right, that works. Keep on going. And I was just like, damn, it kind of gets easier. So I'm like, the fact that my craft is becoming more improved, there's definitely going to be more sound coming from me. I need to stop procrastinating and thinking too much about it.
Yeah.
But I definitely have a plan. I just want to execute it correctly. I don't want it to, even though, like I said, failure is a part of the game.
It's part of the game.
And I don't feel like I'm going to fail. I'm just like, I don't know how to just, I feel like I should just put it out there, but I'm like, I got to actually like, I got to do cover arts, and I want to make sure I at least do certain things. And on top of it, I just feel like I don't want to give nobody a treat if I don't have the full meal for them.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
I know what you mean. I like that. Like the fact that you put it that way. I like that. Well, KITO, I am looking forward to your music. I'm going to have your socials right here. Be sure to follow my guy in his journey.
Yes, sir.
It's not about his music. It's not just about the music. It's about his journey.
Definitely.
Doesn't have much right now, but he will soon. And just check out my guy and see what he has to offer. You know what I mean? Yeah, I've met his peoples. They're good.
Show me love, man. We got a lot of good things coming. Got a lot of good blessings coming. So just stay tuned. Stay tuned with me and the gang, and we're gonna get shit popping. You're gonna see. We're gonna apply pressure this summer. We're gonna get everything the way we gotta get it.
I'm looking forward to, my guy. Well, I appreciate you coming by.
Thank you.
Hopefully we can have you stop by soon when
Definitely,
you release let's do this. And when you release your project, we'll do an episode talking about the project. We'll talk about the songs. We'll talk about what you're thinking behind there, and we'll just feed the streets.
Yeah, hopefully see what's going on tonight. Hopefully I can go to the studio tonight, get another 3 songs done, because I got shit in the vault.
Let's make it happen.
Promote content and stuff. So definitely.
My brother, thank you for stopping by.
Thank you, appreciate it.
All right. See, just like that. That was a great conversation.